It's an audio-visual letter from me about incredible edible Alf Church. And so this is quite exciting, and I thought a good way to post a little update on what we witnessed in 2018 and what we have to look forward to in 2019. So presently, and as part of the journey, we are looking to form a management committee, the and then some sort of legal organisation, and whether that be a cooperative or a community benefit society or a charity community benefit society. I am not sure. I am very drawn to companies that have unlimited in their title. That just lights my fire. And this is I suppose our next step to receiving the funds for the precinct and raised beds which are going in there opposite the lounge and gin and pickles and the co-op. So yes, we would be looking for a treasurer and this one always escapes me, you know. What, a chair? I quite fancy being the chair. But if you have a burning desire to be the chair, let us know here at Incredible Edible, and I'd consider stepping aside. So treasurer, a chair, and you know, someone who takes notes and keeps things in order, which is evidently why it escapes me. Incredible Edible Todmorden also have people on their management committee looking after community and arts, website communication, a growing consultant, and then council representatives. I like the idea of keeping it small and compact and bijou. Obviously, with Incredible Edible Alf Church being a community-based venture, we would seek to inform and, wherever necessary, get feedback from the local institutions, whether that be the school, the lounge, WIs, scout groups, guide groups, anything that forms a largish body or organisation within the village or the local community. We'd seek to get their feedback. Then we're looking to open a bank account, and then receive the funds to enable us to install the raised beds in the precinct, which fingers crossed will be going in January, February, which is ideal because that's kind of, you know, midwinter and people will be kicking about going, oh no, it's cold and it's dark, and then we'll go, ha! Raised beds, baby! Yep, raised beds. We've got some fresh fruit and veg, organic, going in, locally grown. So that would be a nice splash of hope and optimism going in. And then I suppose if we were to have a little look at what has been this year, which has been, just beautiful. So I came across Incredible Edible in maybe April or thereabouts, March, I don't know. And it was just the most amazing story, hey. So after having watched a few videos and spent a little bit on time looking at the success stories that they generated, I thought, Alf Church is ready for this. And I shall tell you why I'm passionate about fruit and vegetables. About 3.5 years ago, I changed my diet and became vegan. So plant-based, And the change I noticed within and around me was just incredible. Um, I recognize that our body is the kingdom of heaven. It all happens within our body, and when we look after ourselves, not only through diet, but so many of the things that gardening can give us, which is why Incredible Edible just ticks so many boxes. Hey, it is sexy. As a movement goes, it is sexy. Um, so yeah, the better we can eat, and the more love we can afford ourselves and our communities, then the more these incredible time and space traveling machines, which are our bodies, the kind of, you know, the vessels that our souls inhabit, the more magic we can experience and share. We can create a future where there is abundance and prosperity for all, perfect health for all. We are capable of just keeping illness away. We're living in incredible times, and food is the first building block to the transformation on our way into the new world. So Incredible Edible, just yeah, man. I thought, yeah, we're having some of that. So we put in the 4 foot square planter in Tanyard Lane car park after having a few meetings, of which I'm grateful for Jenny Thatcher, and then Rosie and James, and a few others that came along. So it was just opportunity presented itself. Hey, there was a crate which was being thrown away on Station Road, and it just said plant vegetables in there. So between myself and a few other helpers, we put that in, and it was hugely successful. Hey, like hugely successful. We put it in without permission, and I'll touch base on that, but it was just on disused lands that was sat there kind of, looking pretty ugly. So we improved the village, and the crops that came from the tomatoes were just absolutely bonkers, right? It was my first year growing, and to have a relationship with the food, wow, it's amazing. I'm sure that the best compost or fertilizer or nutrient that we could give our food is our own love, and to have a relationship with that food. It puts love into what we're growing, and then when we get to eat what we're growing, we put that love back inside ourselves. So our bodies just kind of explode in this, forgive the word, orgasmic dance of just love. It's amazing. So to reintroduce children back to where food comes from and the growing story for them. So, man, it would just change so much. And when children have the opportunity and the pleasure to sow a seed and watch it grow, and then nurture it and water it, they're just over the moon to be able to eat that food because it was them that put that love in. And then they get to not only witness the magic of looking after the plant, but also having food which is full of nutrients, full of love. Do you know, I could list what it doesn't have in there, but I think you guys know that our food is just, well, it's been tempered with, right? Or tampered with. And when we can grow our own food, we just, yeah, our bodies just benefit so much. The conversations that I had around the planter being such a hot year, loads of incredible conversations with people who grow, and people who don't, generally everybody loved the idea of Incredible Edible. So as a yardstick goes for gauging future endeavours in the village, people are so ready for it. I guess we're lucky, hey? Todmorden, where it started, was an old mining town. So that had fallen on some lean times back in 2008 when the downturn happened, and that's when Todmorden kind of sprung the initiative that is Incredible Edible. And it's changed so much. Like, it's in all 7 schools that they have growing initiatives. Police station, fire station, railway station all have raised beds where they grow. Their town centre is like this just oasis of beautiful looking plants that produce food, and people get to eat that food when it's ready. So it's a win-win. So from that 4-foot planter in Tanyard Lane car park, Alfchurch Baptist Church decided that they would not only harvest water from their roof into a water butt, which is now available for watering on Tanyard Lane car park. Massively appreciated. So thank you so much, guys, Fiona and the rest of the team. They've also decided to put in 2 raised beds themselves, which they're getting ready to plant in the spring. And then outside of that, we've got the precinct coming, which should be with us January, February, and then we've been in talks with the Canal and River Trust, who are really interested in putting something up by the marina, just off Station Road. Sitting area with fruit trees. So we're making great progress. I would love it if you guys would consider coming onto the management committee. And as well as forming the management committee and then the opening of a bank account, it's also the exciting time where we get to look at what we'd like to achieve long term and short term. There are lots of places and spaces within the village which are suitable for planting fruit and veg, and would benefit like so many people. I think one of the statistics which I spotted on the Incredible Edible Todmorden site was that for every £1 spent, which is money that has come from funding, it's returned £5.50 by way of benefits. I have a feeling that it might be slightly more than that. I've seen the figure of £10 somewhere. So we can kind of get money from the lottery, invest that into our village, and well, it's a beautiful place, hey, as you guys know, but we can just... So I'd like to introduce growing to the schools, and form a team of people who would be happy to take that in to the school. Maybe voluntary to start off with, but I don't see why it shouldn't be a paid job. It's a hugely valuable thing to do. And then I love the idea of starting a cooperative community growing scheme, where we use local land, and again there are so many options and information as well available, and then we look at selling that in a local shop, putting together our veg boxes, similar to Riverford boxes. And then outside of that, well, the world is our proverbial oyster, right? There's nothing we can't do. And it all begins with fruit and veg. It's just, so to me, diet is just so vital. And then we get community action, hey? It brings together the younger generation and the older generation. It kind of moves growing from our back gardens, which is still hugely viable, to public spaces and it just melds us back into into community cohesion, and in those conversations that happen and in those relationships, that's a vast improvement in people's health in so many ways. Um, Gives us sun on our back and gives us gentle exercise for those that are looking for it. Um, Gives us a sense of purpose and a sense of meaning. Reconnection back to the land. The pulses are just like innumerable. Such an amazing thing. So this has turned out slightly longer than a letter. I think I've covered just about everything. So one of the projects which kind of excites me for next year would be that of, in the corner of the car park in Tanyard Lane, where Forest School used to happen. That's an amazing section of land. The Red Lion agreed to having something on the front of theirs, which is just grass. Grass is it's pretty lame, hey? It uses a lot of energy just to do nothing when we could plant fruit and veg on there and educate people and give people food and kind of a direction that we could all travel in, that you know we can use less energy from the grid and more energy from renewable resources and live a lot more happily. I was fortunate enough to do a permaculture design course back in November of last year. So if that's a conversation you'd like to have with me and things we can do around the village, I love the idea of communities buying cooperatively properties and kind of using those to benefit our society, as opposed to having them snapped up by big bodies of money that come in from elsewhere and then just use them to kind of strain money out of our economy, when we could potentially buy those and then invest not only in them but also within our local community. So yeah, we're just living in really exciting times at the moment. I think the benefits of having somewhere set up where we can grow food and be resilient if needs be, and more sustainable and ready if we do need to look after ourselves. It's certainly where we're moving to. We're moving away from, or we're moving towards decentralisation and a devolvement of government back to communities and the power contained within you and within me. So there you go. This has been incredible edible newsletter of 2018 and looking forward to 2019. My thanks as ever to the guys up in Todmorden, Sarah down in Bristol and that incredible edible for their help. And really just you guys, the Village Hay, for making it the most incredible place to live, and somewhere where, when you are passionate about fruit and veg and living well and sharing all of the joys and the treasures that life has to offer with each other. Oh, Merry Christmas, guys, and many blessings. By way of gifts this year, I think Incredible Edible is the best thing that we could ever gift ourselves and children and the village. And on that note, may peace be with you all, and may you all have the most incredible 2019. Peace and love.